pleasant good morning to another edition of the Good Morning Show here on Star Television. Today being Thursday, the 23rd of May 2019. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamal. Top stories in the program. As a gesture of goodwill, the Welfare Committee of the Wesleyan Church on Wednesday, 22nd May 2019, donated food and non-food items to inmates at the Female Correctional Center. The donation is aimed at leveraging support, especially in terms of the basic needs. The Health Education Division, Ministry of Health and Sanitation, in collaboration with UNICEF, has held a one-day orientation meeting for media practitioners and journalists on the upcoming nationwide measles and rubella vaccination campaign, scheduled to take place on Monday the 10th to Sunday the 16th of June 2019. With me in the studio is Hawana Sase, Executive Director for Positive Changes Sierra Leone, and she is here with me in the studio to talk to me on the upcoming inter-secondary school competition, on the importance of culture and tradition with 6 schools participating. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good to have you in the studios. Yeah. Remember, you can be part of this program by sending us messages to the number 088103500, and you can watch this program live on YouTube and our Facebook page live. The Star Good Morning Show is proudly sponsored by Rocket Commercial Bank.
Did you say you want to talk to me?
Yes, my brother. I get stress, bank stress.
Why you do me right?
So go put money in my bank, no problem. So go put money in my bank, no problem. I go to map in a line all day just for put money and pull money. And the loan system, look me business, they go down the drain. You know, get loan system. Me, I just tired.
Now that's the stress you.
Yes, my brother. Now me stress standing.
Let that not be stress. Because me your bank was the bank when I will tell commercial bank. When are the award-winning bank for 2018, where they don't win so many awards inside Fulton and even self outside Salon. Yes, they even recognize them at the international world as they win one of the most prestigious awards from Nigeria as the best corporate bank na Salon. They don't even count financial inclusion, where it means they want to involve everybody in a Salon. Never mind the kind of business way they do. If na pepper self they sell in the market or any other petty business they do, then even self they don't left their comfort zone for going to bonds. When at the island, where you don't say when people that avoid for do banking business, they don't go there for let the people themselves they part of the financial inclusion within the part. And self they get plenty other products where you will meet you day-to-day needs. Then gets like the Keke account. When for them boys and when they ride the Keke them. And self then gets the Osusu account. Then get MasterCard, other platform that they will take money like SimCorp. When a new banking system where they don't count, the business now inside his phone they do. You know, you no need for go, you need to snap that long queue. As then at the award-winning bank, they want to maintain that standard and they want to satisfy the customers. Let them make sure say everybody can inside the bank system. Then nobody not left out. Now for can't open account to them, it's simple. You 50,000, 100,000, you're okay.
Thank you, my brother. I need for one go now girl commercial bank right now. I beg no drink so that they go this na good news.
Commercial bank, mama. Get commercial bank with Rocket. Commercial bank #1. Bank with Rocket. Commercial bank #1.
Welcome back from that commercial break where you move along with the program. As a gesture of goodwill, the Welfare Committee of the Wesleyan Church on Wednesday, 22nd May 2019, donated food and non-food items to females at the Correctional Center. The donation, according to the chairman of the Welfare Committee, Dr. Joseph Kamara, is aimed at leveraging support, especially in terms of their basic needs. Here is the report.
Dr. Joseph Kamara, and I'm the chairman for the Welfare Committee in the Brookfield Wesleyan Church. We formed this welfare aspect of the church for over 10 years now. It's not only about preaching the gospel. We believe, we get for look at the holistic aspect of man. We not to only preach the gospel, but to meet the social needs of man. And as a church, this committee don't support so many programs that we don't give picking and scholarship. Every year we ensure we give scholarship to people them. We don't give one day we forgive. And we don't say let we not stop only now with church no more. We feel we for move outside of the church. And charity begins at home. We closest people that we for start with at the Female Correctional Center. Now we and then the neighbor. So we deem them fit say as a church, let we come and meet them. We come for can share with them the word of God. And not only that, but for meet them also their needs them. So now that make we kaya today with then small items they have for can present to them people there. And this is not a one-off thing. We believe say we get for they do this every quarter. We get for they can visit them now. And we will do more, even as we continue for cement the relationship with them.
So what are some of the things that we can donate today? Can you name a few of them?
We bring in food items. We come with sugar. We come with gari. We come with paste. We come with toothbrush. We come with pampers for picking them. We come with pads, female pads, etc. And a few other things. And soap for us, soap for Brooke. The things that we don't need no more. And he make before we left here, they ask the officers them and give really a list of items that we need now continuously, because we want to make this project a continuous project.
Okay, so how do you female prisoners be able to accept them things here from now? What now the response?
They'll be extremely happy. We all see them be sing, and we were moved. We were emotionally touched by the display of the things that we didn't do, the songs that we didn't sing. And one of them now my favorite song, when my tomorrow must be greater than today. So I think we were moved and we're happy about that.
People and then na tongue where they always think about una. And they always remember una say una dey ya. And where una dey ya, na so then they pray for una. The visit where you get today, una go surprise. Now we neighbor them. We neighbor. It's about thing say neighbor. They close to you. But they may not they try for come. Today, now God say na the possible day for letting Kaya, for can see una, for can pray for una, and for can do una the small thing where they get, where the church come together, where they gather for una. See then they can donate so una and then picking there. You know say picking there, Udana Kumbra always remember for picking there. So they can to una, can see una today.
Well, I want to say thank you to una. I really wanna follow what in Christ say. Say go here to the God to preach the gospel. And we not even follow that we wanna go through on what Christ say for say. When I was in prison, do you visit me? Then it's Matthew 25 down to 36. Wanna do a great thing which wanna do. I pray that we leisure times when I left out. When I come visit with the inmates there. Whatever thing when I have find it for, I pray I will do and well. Amen.
That's it. What's really happened yesterday at the Female Correctional Center, thanks to the Welfare Committee of the Wesleyan Church, for which the chairman is Dr. Joseph Kamara. Let me welcome another studio guest here. Is the Executive Director for the Beankwe Foundation, Sierra Leone. He's Solomon Sondu. Solomon, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Great. Good to have you in the studios.
Thank you.
Let me start with Hawanatu from the Positive Changes Sierra Leone. You will be organizing an inter-secondary school competition on the importance of culture and tradition. As you've stated, 6 schools are going to participate.
Yes.
Take us through the formation of this particular process.
Well, actually, this program is just based on sensitization. We are not seeing more of our culture, so we decided to come up with a program for 6 different secondary schools to partake to help promote culture and tradition in Sierra Leone.
So what do you see missing in our cultural practices?
Everything is missing. Respect, color dressing, everything about culture. We are missing everything, and our culture is fading away. And because of that, we are not seeing what is really supposed to be seen. Now, for example, people just believe that it's only on Friday that we are supposed to put on this our cultural attire. Is it only on Friday that we are supposed to tell people that we are Sierra Leoneans, we are Africans? So this is a sensitization that we want to come up with to help spread the news. So we decided to start with young people, because it's not about giving them or making the program, but it's about showing them what they really want to see, and to tell them that this is where you're coming from. You are an African, you are Sierra Leonean, you should be proud of who you are.
Okay, now we're looking at it from the bigger scheme of things now, where one could attribute the influence of Western culture into our culture that has undermined ours. As you said, we don't seem to be upholding our culture anymore, the code of dressing, the way of doing things, and we don't seem to be seen as a kind of lost generation. What have you been able to understand as to some of these factors really undermining our cultural values in society?
Well, the mindset of people have changed. The mindset of people have changed. The ways of people now are different. They believe that this Boho culture, we are in the 21st century, this Boho culture can really help us. And because of this Boho culture, our culture is fading away. To me, I believe it's good to be civilized. It's really good to be civilized.
So how do you intend to take the advocacy?
Well,
are you moving from one secondary school to another, talk to
No.
children?
Well, we decide to make it a competition. We invite different schools to attend. It's a drama. And this drama, they're going to showcase the importance of culture and tradition. Because I believe when you know the importance of something, then you're able to practice that thing. To me, I even think that the white people are tired of seeing what they already have. We always do much of their things. I think we are unique. Let us show them that we have a unique culture, that they will be even proud to come and see. But we are not showing that. And the worst part of it all, our parents are not teaching us about our culture and tradition. And that is the main reason why our culture is fading away. Because they are not teaching us. And I believe that through this sensitization, people will learn about their culture and try to put it in place. Even though I know it's going to be very difficult, because as a Sierra Leonean, we always like to ignore the important things, saying that, oh, that one is not important. But I can challenge people that if you know where you're coming from, if you know who you are, then you have to start practicing your culture. You should not allow your culture to fade away.
Do you see upholding our culture could be one of the ways of building the strength and unity of a nation?
Yes. I think I can say yes and yes. If we can able to build our culture properly, practice our culture, then we have to take one step in developing our nation. Because our culture is very important.
So the participating schools for the inter-secondary school competition, where do you intend to hold this program?
St. Edward Secondary School,
The date?
the 31st of May.
It's just a one-day program.
It's just a one-day program.
So what the anticipated outcome of that particular competition, where you will expect students to really understand the importance of cultural practice, upholding our values in society?
I think they are going to see more of it, more of our culture. And it's going to be very interesting, because people like interest in something. It's going to be very interesting. They're going to learn a lot, because we are going to have different type of people who's going to talk to them about the importance of our culture. So there is more for them to learn, and they're going to teach others. The program is learn and teach others.
So they will be seen as ambassadors to actually transmit the goodwill message.
Yes.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Shays. Hawana Tusase, Executive Director of Positive Changes Sierra Leone. Solomon Sondu, the Bayankwe Foundation. First off, when we say Bayankwe, is a local derivative, I'm sure, from the Kono tribe.
Exactly.
Am I right?
You're right.
So what does that mean?
Biankwe it's a unique name and a warrior attached name.
Mm.
You know, our ancient father, the war background from Kono, when you add about the Samori to raise, this way is gallant men. When they took over,
Foot soldiers.
yeah, exactly, when they captured certain area, more especially within that part of our country, they would just leave some, you know, military guys around to take care of the ground. And our great grandfather, the name Bianco means in Kono is in-law business. In-law, my in-law,
Okay.
my brother-in-law, my father-in-law, in-law in all cases.
Okay.
So when they capture, he will meet young girl or young boy, he will refer to them. If you are a young girl, he will say, this is my wife. If you are a young boy, he will say, this is my in-law or my brother-in-law. That's the way. And moving with that direction, your enemy will not able to tackle you because you are in love with them. The word itself is love.
Okay.
You understand? Where there is married, where there is love, you have that kind of cohesion. You understand? Peace. So that's the rightful meaning of Bianco.
So you're gonna have it as an organization where you are the executive director of a Bianco. Bianco, forgive
Yeah.
me if I don't pronounce it well.
Yeah.
I wish it would have been in Timne. I would have made it very clear for you. Bianco Foundation. What are some of the key activities your foundation has been undertaken in terms of strengthening our peace and democracy?
A lot. Adraman, you will agree with me that in 2017-18 electioneering process, Bianco Foundation took a whole lot of sensitization, getting to the youths, preaching governance system, going to districts, chiefdom, you understand, preaching against violence, how we should be able to inculcate our democratic norms into ourselves. The Bianco Foundation was able to put that in place, and we were able to monitor the elections right across Sierra Leone. And also, we are in the kind of humanitarian.
I thought you would have borrowed a page from Hawanatu's idea calling for, the resurrection of our cultural values and practices, upholding them, that will build on the nation, that will build the unity, the peace, love, and everything. According to her, we seem to be a lost generation when it comes to upholdment and refinement of our cultural practices.
Of course, I agree with her that our culture is one thing that we lack.
And you are not putting on a ronco.
Exactly, except on Fridays, just as you said. So, based on our ideology in democratic governance system, the Bianco Foundation has been able to cater a lot for the disabled. Now, we thank God we have the free quality education, but before we were given scholarship from primary school to university level. We did all of this. We were working with the disabled people, you understand, vulnerable people. During the Ebola period, we undertook a whole lot of, humanitarian work. So for me, my organization stands a better point to talk on issues bordering within governance. Exactly. And we are there to, draw the attention of government, you understand, for things bordering the nation. We cannot just sit by, like what we are seeing going on within our democratic system in Sierra Leone.
Now, today as a nation, we have elderly statesmen, international stakeholders, all converged at the Miat Bintu Mani Conference, international conference for a 3-day session on peace building and national cohesion. And I just want to prompt our audience that once I got the signal from my technicians, we shall actually switch over to the Beauty Money Conference to bring a live broadcast of the events that is unfolded there. Until I do have that beckoning, then we'll continue on the program. Now, you made a lot of recommendations. I'm not sure whether it's too late yet. What I think is critical, according to the organizers, they will be gauging public opinion, and at the end of the day, they will be coming with recommendation that will inform the government to build on a white paper, otherwise known as a communique. What's your take on the Beauty Money Conference? Is it a vital undertaking?
Yes, it is a vital undertaking. But concerns have been raised within the Bintimani conference itself. Citizens
Prior to its commencement.
exactly. Citizens really applaud the initiative of the organizers or the government, but the concerns were so many that if we have Bintimani 1, which is for peace, and we have Bintimani 2, which led us to democratic governance system, now we are not in war, but we have this, political tension within Sierra Leone, and we all see where the country is heading to because of divide, regional divide, tribal line. You understand? These days of our politics. So the Bintimani conference really is a laudable venture, but it's the manner in which the organizers, you understand, schedule the date for it. You agree with me that political parties should be part of the process, because as we see them within the political landscape, they are our authorities, the SLPP, the APC to be specific. The APC is the major opposition in parliament, and the SLPP is the executive arm of government, you understand. But what we are saying these days is this interest of bad politics, right? People don't believe in nationalism. People don't believe in what we call national cohesion, which will lead us to peace. So they will always decide to do their own thing in their own way for their own selfish benefit, forgetting the fact that we put them there, we elect them to represent us. So what are they waiting? Would they want to see Sierra Leone get back to the darker days? No, we don't want to see that. So what we are calling on the politicians and those who are behind the corner, injecting words into the supporters of those political parties for us not to be in peace, I think this is the time for us to meet together and say, yes, how do we want to see Sierra Leone moving forward? How do we want to see Sierra Leone?
Well, what will you say on the question of accommodating the views of the opposition?
I think
especially so when they claim that most of what they raised as fundamental concern are legitimate too.
That is, I mean, on my premise, I indicated that the political parties are very key in all of this. So what the organizers should have done is for them to involve stakeholders like the political parties, inclusive. They make them inclusive into the governance system, because that is the cry. The APC is saying they are not considered in governance system, and they are complaining a whole lot of issues, that even the election of the speaker in parliament, they were not treated properly, and the petition cases, you understand. Of course, the Bintimani conference is not going to deal with political issues. That is to say, setting up of the commission of inquiry, going back to the petitions. These are not issues to discuss there. But we want to see what really brought all of these things, you understand. When Sierra Leoneans know that the laws are there, you should not be collecting money from the other angle, you understand, and want to vie for political positions. These are all things we need to speak out in Bintimani conference, so that that should be one way of recommending in the white paper or whatever communique you call it. You understand? Why citizens should not think of their nationality, loyalty to the nation first rather than themselves. So we want to see people who are martyrs. On my way coming, I heard that the former president, and Mr. Nkrumah, is at the hall now. So we are happy. Even though when others are on my way, I think that will be news. You understand? Even though others are saying, or the NAC of the APC is saying they will not go. It has become a norm now, or a kind of language now going around. You will go in the local language, SO2. You will go, or they go. But what my concern is
a cliche now.
Exactly. My concern to the APCs, if you have made all of these complaints, you understand, let's put the ego aside. Yes, they are right in their opinion that the way they organize the conference itself nobody consider them to be stakeholders. You understand? They should be part of the whole issue. And if you look at our survey, what we did, it was inside. You understand? We pick it up and we put it under our recommendation that everybody should be included. The religious body, journalists, the fourth estates, include everybody, market women, students, university goers.
So Solomon, are we as a nation provided the glaring opportunity that if we miss this particular opportunity out as a nation, we are bound to suffer the most?
Well,
in terms of building the national cohesion, in terms of building the peace, unity, and prosperity of this nation.
If you look at the TRC recommendation, I think the previous administration abandoned the TRC recommendation. Abdurrahman, let us say the facts here. Blessed memory Pakaba, I think when Pakaba took over governance system, it was able to bring the divisiveness within the political spectrum within that period together. That is to say, cohesiveness. And if you want to really go by the TRC recommendations, what brought the war, you understand, is bad governance. The winners take all, one party governance system. We don't want to see that again in Sierra Leone. We want to see where Sierra Leoneans have the right to speak what is really bothering them. We want to see where citizens can come out and say, this is what we don't like about our governance system. We want to see where this free space is there for journalists to express themselves and the civil society. So what we are expressing to the government, they should make sure we consolidate what we call the peace. Because without national cohesion, the peace we are talking of, it will not sustain. How can you have peace without divisiveness?
Okay.
Bring the people together, then we'll have peace and national cohesion.
Okay, before I go to the next insert, let me come over to Hawanatu. Hawanatu, one key challenge, if you like, is the question of enlightenment. When you have an enlightened society, there are things people tend to question as to its worthiness or its relevance in our society, whether they are practical or not. So you are faced with a challenge where society will consciously or unconsciously dismiss most of our cultural practices, right? We used to have a situation where, do you recall your upbringing in any village certain where you sit at night with your parents? We've done so. We did so in Bo.
Yeah.
Right? We sit together.
Yeah.
We lit the fire at night, telling folk tales.
Yes.
You have the elderly, they tell you stories.
Yeah.
This is where you begin to have a kind of informal education. They tell you all of those stories. But as we speak, are they lively?
No.
That speaks volume of the fact that enlightenment questions some of those things and say they are no longer relevant in our society. So the challenge is about the education, the mindset. We have a generation that tend to question all of those beliefs now and form a new opinion. Tell you, but for want of better, let's say, we'll not even consider the incident itself. Right?
Yes.
So that is it. You see, so many people that instead of going for that traditional plating of hair to do their hair, they rely much more on Vivon, Brazilian hair and all sorts of things. So it's a question of enlightenment. How will your advocacy really touch upon that particular trend? Try to reconcile that particular challenge for people to understand that indeed our tradition, our values, what the why.
Well, actually, we have put in place things that, for example, the drama. The drama is one aspect of it.
You dramatize the situation,
yes,
for people to understand.
Yes. And
that is one channel of communication.
Yes. And we also trying to come up with a talk show, because we want this sensitization to be a continuous something. Because I believe that you will not expect to give birth to a child to then expect that child to start sitting down or crawling or walking. So it will take a time for people to realize that this is the right thing they have to do. But I always challenge people, even if you travel to overseas, they will ask you where you're coming from. Tell me about your country. Even you have to tell them about your country, you have to tell them about your culture. If you don't know your culture, you can't tell them about your culture. How will you talk to somebody who want to come and visit Sierra Leone? What will you use to make that person feel really interesting to come to your country? Culture is very important. So we are telling people that you don't have to give up on culture. To me, I believe civilization did not make a way for you to forget your culture. It's good to be civilized, but it doesn't mean that because you're civilized, you have to forget your culture. No.
Are you anticipating working with the Civic Commission headed by Kalilu Tutange?
No.
You don't intend to work? Because I think that commission, their core mandate borders around the promotion of our culture, and civic education and all the rest of it. So you will find time to actually see him and really talk to him when I'm sure the work of the commission commences to fullest extent. That would be one of the very many ways you can break that yoke of your campaign, so for people to actually understand the need for them to practice their culture.
Okay.
This is a campaign, I'm sure, in my view, that actually worth the while. Sondu, do you have anything else to talk on these cultural practices before I go?
Yeah, I think the cultural value, we need to reinstate it back. And just like what my sister said, we need to cascade the sensitization into, the primary school level, onto, the adult level. Because as you said, people don't believe in our dresses any longer. People don't believe in our norms any longer. Our cultural heritage is dying slowly. We just believe in the Western, ideology. We believe in what they bring, to us, and we borrow them. So, we will support you in your venture, and we would all like to see, this thing going, not only within Freetown or Western area, take them down to the provinces. It will be good for you.
Okay. We'll come back to you, move along with the program. The Health Education Division in the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, in collaboration with UNICEF, has held a one-day orientation meeting for media practitioners and journalists on the upcoming nationwide measles and rubella vaccination campaign, scheduled to take place on Monday the 10th to Sunday the 16th of June 2019. The department called on media practitioners and journalists to disseminate accurate information that will leverage the support in addressing health-related issues. George Elliott Sam reports.
While making a presentation, the manager, Health Education Division, Lassana Conte, noted that measles is a highly infectious disease which is caused by a virus, adding that the disease remains to be one of the leading causes of preventable death in children under 5 years, in spite of the availability of a safe and cost-effective vaccine. He reiterated the need for effective media reporting, especially on health issues, noting the importance of media in terms of information dissemination.
We are more than prepared because we first of all started with our planning process long back as far as February. We have started this year our planning. We went to the districts, did micro planning with all the districts. They gave us all the plans of what the district looks like in terms of the teams, team formation, and what the services they already have, what is on stock. Remember, the 3.2 million, the bulk of them are children, school-going children. And also enlisted helps us so that we can enlist schools, like schools that we have in each of the country, because it's a national event. And we plan that together with them, look at how to reach communities. This is some of this information we use to properly plan how we're forming our teams, what are the requirements of the vaccine, the quantity we need, for which area, for which district, so that we can get a successful campaign.
Highlighting other intervention of the campaign, Dr. Lydia Farmer revealed that they are going to target about 1.3 million children from 0 to 5 years in the whole country for polio, while also administering vitamin supplement and capsule with ebendazole tablets. She further noted that on the similarities between measles and rubella, said, rubella is a viral infectious disease which is transmitted by airborne droplet when infected people sterilize or cut, thereby infecting or putting other people, especially children, at the risk of contacting the disease.
So now, what is measles? Somebody might want to ask, Doctor, what is measles? So measles is an infectious disease. When you say infectious, if one person has it, it can transfer to another person. Just even within close contact, it can transfer. Okay? So it remains one of the leading causes of preventable death in children under 5 years of age, in spite of even the availability of a safe and cost-effective vaccine. So even sometimes when the vaccines are there, we still see children coming down with these diseases and dying from it, and some even having severe complications. So it can cause death and other complications. Don't mind all those big words, right? So diarrhea, infections of the air, which we call otitis media, pneumonia, infection in the brain, which is that word, encephalitis, and also it is greatest in children under 5 years. So if we look at the age group, those under 5s are very, very prone to have measles infection. So that is why we should urge our children to be vaccinated.
While giving the keynote address, Communication for Development Specialist, UNICEF, Pa Usman Mana, said he congratulated the government of Sierra Leone for being one of the frontline countries in Africa who has introduced the measles rubella vaccine into the routine immunization schedule. He further noted that the step is a commendable show of the government's commitment to save lives of every child in the country.
As UNICEF, we are proud to support this process. The introduction of this vital vaccine is a positive milestone towards reversing the worrying under 5 mortality rate, which is at 94 deaths per 1,000 live births, according to 2017 Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey. One of the main causes of deaths is measles. I congratulate the government of Sierra Leone, EPI in particular, for being one of the forerunners, first countries in Africa who has introduced the measles rubella vaccine into the routine immunization schedule. This is a commendable show of the government's commitment to save the lives of every child in the country. Experiences from countries where this vaccine has been introduced have shown that the measles rubella vaccine is very safe and is 95% effective in preventing measles and rubella diseases.
The campaign is scheduled to take place on Monday the 10th to Sunday the 16th of June 2019. For Star News in Freetown, I am George Elliott Sam reporting.
Thanks so much for putting that report together to George Elliott Sam. An organization known as Advocacy Network Against Irregular Migration has on Monday 20th May 2019 organized a registration exercise for all irregular migrants aimed at seeking for the welfare at Ferry Junction in Freetown. Traditional reporter and the best man has the details of this report.
Speaking to Media One Center in Freetown, the executive director of the organization, Sheku Bangura, said the exercise is aimed at determining the number of migrants that have returned home and have a database of them. He noted also that the migration is geared towards leveraging sensitization drive and seek to encourage migrants that all is not lost as far as their future is concerned.
Establish this advocacy network against irregular migration because of what our sisters and brothers went through and what our brothers and sisters went through in order to protect the others who want to take the same journey by awareness raising, trying to sensitize them so that they will know exactly what is happening in Libya, Kuwait, and other parts of Arab countries. That is why we established this organization. And these organizations, we are doing such registration in the sense that when inviting other organizations, other international organizations, both international and local organizations to help this migrant. Some of them came back to Sierra Leone without nothing to start life with, without nothing in their life. Even their husband abandoned them, and even some of our brothers who came back home, some of them have problems with other people, some of them have problems with their relatives, because when they want to take rejoining, maybe some of them sold family properties, some of them stole. And once this organization is formed, we are trying to do such mediation so that these people can be integrated to the various society that they came from.
The Deputy Media Communication Officer, Sir Mokamo Fumanda, highlighted the importance of the organization and its activities since its establishment.
Our sisters and brothers have left the shores of Sierra Leone because of employment facilities. They have gone to Libya, Kuwait, and other parts of the world so that they will be able to fit themselves among the status quo. Unfortunately, they went there, they were malhandled. Some even were put in prison. And today, many of them have come as deportees and some have come voluntarily as returnees. They are here today in this office almost always. They are trying to see how governments and other international NGOs can put hands together so that they will be reintegrated in the society.
Two of the migrants, Fatibata Bangura, who went to Kuwait, and Almami Kagbo, that also went to Libya, both explained their ideal and call on other Sierra Leoneans not to take the risk of traveling outside of Sierra Leone without proper documentations.
Openness is so much because more of sexual harassment, different things that we be encounter so many things. We not be they get peace, no good food, not even good sight for sleep. So it not be really easy for we, and like as for me, I not be willing for come home because wait I go for I not be able for succeed. But then deport me come home back because of different issues, then because of sexual harassment, different certain things that will be they happen where me say not be the go down well with me. When you lay complaining, they beat you, then they do all kinds of things. So I be so happy for come back home, and I'm so happy for this certain organization where I there with right now when advocacy network. Where it be to say where I come home, it not be really easy for me because I be stressed. But due to some certain counseling where I don't go through, I tell Allah thank you, and I tell the advocacy network thank you so much.
Irregular migration is becoming a huge challenge for youth, especially in Africa, that records a bulking population of youth through the risk-taking venture of Temple Run. Andrew Bestman reporting.
Thanks to our traditional reporter, Andrew Bestman, for putting those materials together. However, we don't seem to be having much time left in the studio. What will be your call to all for the enhancement and promotion of our culture?
Well,
how do you hope to win in this campaign?
I'm going to have continuous sensitization on people. I'm not going to get tired. I'm not going to look at people, neither listen to the words of people, because I believe that I'm doing the right thing. So I'm calling on everybody, every Sierra Leoneans, to come together and make sure that our culture is being practiced. Let us not allow our culture to fade away, because this is who we are. It tells us where we're coming from and who we are. Let's believe our culture and be proud of it, because we are Sierra Leoneans.
Does this campaign require some amount of resources that will at the end of the day yield the required objective you're looking out for?
Well, the resources, it's not much because I'm having a lot of challenges. So for now, I'm just going to focus on what I have. Thanks to two of my sponsors for my program, because with the grace of God, they are able to do something for me. It's not about the money, but it's about what is going out. So I'm okay with that.
Okay. We wish you well in that campaign. We're looking forward to having you in subsequent editions, as much as you're helping in promoting this important ingredient of our national cohesion, cultural practice. So many people seem to be missing out within that equation. Yes, Solomon.
Yeah, I think my pattern shots will be, let me just take the words of Abraham Lincoln here, the meaning of democracy, which he referred to as democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Also, it further went on to say, democracy is government by the people, in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised directly by them or their elected agencies under a free electoral processes, which I will refer to in this case for the Bentimani 3. We own the power. The power is us. We give power. So the government, the new direction, should listen to us, the people. They should listen to the voice and the cries of their citizens. They should not take, you understand, that revenge or vengeance in governance system as we used to see it happening in the past. We want to see, as the world go new direction, we want to see them practicing that particular thing which is new. And to remind or recall the president in the state opening of parliament, I could vividly remember when he took over presidency, he said he will make sure he depoliticize state institutions. And this frequent transfer, sacking of professionals for their political reasons is wrong. We don't want to see this politics of impunity where the former administration does that and you also want to do the same thing. Encourage everybody, listen to the voice and the cries. That makes up democracy, because we give them the power. We own the power. We cannot rule ourselves as the lower animals do. That's why we invest the power into their hands. Okay. We want to see them really moving Sierra Leone forward, not backward. Let them go by the TRC recommendations and listen to some of us, the fourth estates. We are there to raise issues. We are there to draw their attention on things bordering the nation. So Bentimani 3, I would call on those who are saying they will not go. Let them go in spirit to listen. From there, we will recommend what will happen for Sierra Leone in the future.
Okay, all of us as a nation, as people of this beautiful country, we looking forward anticipatedly to the outcome of this conference. Maybe it will change the narrative and it will enhance a kind of period of mature reflection in governance, having a listening ears to do the right things. Otherwise, I want to thank both of you for sparing your time being part of this program. Hawanatu, as I promised, we hope to have a subsequent edition as much as to talk on these all important aspects about culture and or tradition. Bankwe Foundation Executive Director, thank you so much for honoring this invitation being part of this program.
Thanh you so much.
This is how I draw the curtain in today's edition of the program. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamara. Have a wonderful day.